the girls of Brokery have showed me who they are time and time again.
I like the girls of Brokery, and I like you too. Okay.
And they, in a previous episode of their podcast, they had mentioned me in reference to Traitors and just could not bring themselves to mention my fabulous, beautiful name that my mother gave me. There were rumors swirling that I had gotten into a verbal melee with the girls of Brokery and allegedly Ashley.
Giselle and Robin, let's call them. I'm not going to say
the girls of Brokery. That is who they are. And
you're Candiace, and they're Giselle and Robin. Go ahead.
I'm Candiace. They are Brokery Nation.
Giselle and Robin. Go ahead.
They are Brokiana 1 and Brokiana 2.
Okay.
Pure and unadulterated. Every week we got you waiting. Candiace and Michael.
Girl. Boys and Billy Goats. Hello, welcome. It's Undomesticated. I'm Candiace.
I'm Michael. Hello, Candiace. We love this Bob.
Oh, this is Bobisha.
This is for people who watch it on YouTube. But yes, it's a cute little nasty blonde Bob for those listening on audio. How are you doing, Candiace?
I'm good. I'm exhausted. I think I'm living on gummy bears and protein shakes. Today has been a very long day. I'm in New York. For those of you that are watching us on YouTube, I'm in a hotel. As you can see, this is not my house. I'm here doing press for the Traitors. So it's been a long day, but I'm alive. How are you?
I'm alive. You know, my Black History Month is starting off a little rocky, but that's very America. It's not going to break me though. We still hopeful. We got the rest of the month. Yeah, we still here, like Tisha.
Right. Yes,
but
happy Black History Month to everyone who celebrates.
Yes, happy Black History Month to everybody. We have a jam-packed episode today, lots of to discuss, and we have a special guest that is coming on later on. Miss April Ryan, a legendary Black journalist, the longest serving Black White House correspondent that we have.
Yes.
So we got some Black history for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just want to get to the mess?
Let's dive right in.
Okay, we have to start with Traitors. I want to shout out Lisa Rinna.
Yes.
I
the
think
legend that she is.
I hated to see her go, but the way she left was great. Now, what do I want to begin with this? I will say, I actually thought Jam Jam, it was Lisa. It was Lisa. She kissed me.
It's Lisa. That I would say, I say that like every other day. It's Lisa.
Lisa. Shout out to him for giving me something I'm going to keep with me for a long while and use and text on the phone. However, if you dead, you shouldn't be able to talk. He was dead.
That's what people were saying. I kind of had a different take. I kind of felt like, how exactly is it different than when we're at dinner and we're all kind of throwing out names of people that we think are traitors? It's kind of the same. But I do recognize the point that when Alan goes, "It's you, Jam Jam," just so that whole table, that whole thing was so dramatic. When he said that, he was dead. Essentially, as soon as he was named as the dead player, he was dead. So then maybe he should not have been able to speak. I do feel like in future seasons, they will add that note that, if there's ever a murder in plain sight and someone is murdered in front of everyone, once you're murdered, you can't speak. They're going to add that, I feel like, because there were a lot of notes that we were given that I feel like had come from learning lessons from previous seasons.
And I will say, although we didn't see it on TV, the Peacock, I did look at threads, and Kristen Kish was like, "It's not the kiss because I'm paraphrasing, but it was something effective like, I've been in HR, I worked in HR. It wouldn't be that." I was like, you know what? She's not wrong. They could have let that go.
True. Yes, they would not have made a kiss an official act of murder. No.
No. Okay. So I think the biggest takeaway for me, and I'll let you to see what you want to address. Now, I think in terms of, I guess, gameplay, Rob turning on Lisa for the sake of himself and blah, blah, blah is not. It felt dirty watching as a viewer and as a fan of Lisa and wanting the Traitors to work together to not act. He acts like a faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not unsurprising in past seasons to see a traitor be a traitor to another traitor, but I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I wanted you to throw another date at him. Also, there has been, I think maybe too much sauce put on you and Rob's exchange on social.
Right?
I didn't.
Right. It's too much.
You tell us. I don't think the beef is that. I feel like that's just y'all have your own rapport, and I guess I know you, so I didn't think it was that deep. But how would you explain that for the fans that are clearly?
Well, the fandom is dramatic. We'll start
Yes.
there. I know Housewives fandom. We are dramatic. I was not aware of gamer fandom. They are just as, if not more, so drama queens. And when you have these two factions converge over the Traitors, I think it's just like a combustible bag of drama. And in that regard, I expect nothing less. But also, I just think that everyone is just kind of excited, and in their
Right.
excitement, they're just making it this like very grand gesture when I literally, Kim, said 2 words. So for those that didn't see it, there's this very brilliant recapper, I'm blanking on her name, who not only gives recaps, but she kind of gives like her theories on what's happening on the season. And she had a theory basically saying that Rob he's a guy's guy and he's not here for the women. And she sort of likened his behavior to the way that he acted on Love Island and kind of being a fuckboy on Love Island. And he's sort of bringing those same characteristics to the castle. And I agreed with what she was saying. Rob got down in the comments and was like, is it? Or no, I said that. Rob got in the comments and said, this is ridiculous. And I was
Right.
like, well, is it ridiculous? Because I mean, I kind of feel like it's true. But that blew up and became this, oh my God, the girls are fighting. And, I am a seasoned veteran of housewifery, okay? And this is like a light Tuesday afternoon for us, okay? Like we go hard, and a little that wasn't even a date. That was like I threw a feather at
Yeah, I
Rob. It didn't
didn't.
even land.
Now, what do you think? How do you respond to the criticism about your vote for Rob, and people think that puts you at risk?
At risk.
Because I don't know. When I see that, I think in my mind, like if I was on this show, I would like to think I would know what I was doing, but you don't know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
it's easy as a viewer to think,
Right.
oh, so how do
I would've
you
done
feel
it.
about that critique? Because I imagine you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot. And I have a lot to say at the reunion, so I'm going to save some
Okay.
of my response for the reunion. But what I will say is I knew exactly what I was doing. I resent greatly the notion that my choice was an emotional one, especially given, the myriad of emotional choices and back and forth that has ensued with the men on the show. And I don't see people, echoing those same sentiments. It's like, oh, because I'm a woman, I'm emotional. But when a man makes a choice that rings true emotionally as well, it's like, oh, that was badass, that was boss, or whatever I see people saying. So I resent that. And I will just say that I have a lot to say at the reunion, but the choice that I made was intentional, it was strategic, and it was for reasons that if they don't become clear, I will make them clear at the reunion.
I'll bet. Speaking of emotional and Colton. So I just want to just say, you know, he had a little too much dip on his chip when he thought like I came in afraid of the housewives and I took out one of them. Colton, you did not take out Lisa Rinna. You might have put a target on her back, but I would give that to Rob and Jam Jam. And Lisa,
And
not
Lisa.
and Lisa kind of put herself out there.
Love her down. Love her down. Back boots. I love her. Lisa's not great at defending herself. And
Right.
it wasn't as evident to me like in the castle. And of course, you know, hindsight's 2020. When you come out of there and you're able to like look at an aerial view of things, you obviously always see things differently. But it was not immediately clear to me in the castle how little she was defending herself. But watching it back, it's like, oh my God, Lisa, like, say something. And like something outside of, oh, I am a faithful.
Yes.
And she'd be like, what? I just don't even know why you would think that. And I'm like, girl, no.
Also, shout out to the fans that made the compilation, the content creators of Lisa being like, what?
Oh,
and then comparing it to how she did that with like Garcelle at the reunion or some other instance when she was being called out on something and she clearly said it. One more, Lisa, I will say I really enjoyed her. I mean, shout out to my sister. Not only she recently celebrated her birthday, but she also put me onto Melrose Place. So I remember her from way back. Lisa Rinna, like I saw her on Days of Our Lives. Rest in peace, mama. From that to Beverly Hills Housewives, she was fantastic at her peak. I think the end was a little difficult for the viewers, and it was clearly hard for her. So it was really nice because she referenced that on her way out in the confessional. So it was for me, just as a viewer, to watching Traitors, to be reminded of how great Lisa Rinna is on television in any type of medium. And then to see her kind of be given her flowers in that regard and being celebrated by the cast and like viewers really appreciating her contributions to the show. So like it was just nice as a fan of Rinna and like a fan of Housewives. I don't ever see her going back to any of those things.
We talked about it in the castle. She was like, no.
Yeah, I don't see that for her. But it was nice to see her there. And honestly, put her back on some type of soap opera, be it one that comes on at night or in daytime.
Yeah.
Put Lisa Rinna to work. I know she's a fashion doll and going to Couture Week in Paris and all that stuff.
Killing it in Paris.
Keep getting the looks. But the show itself reminded me of what a joy she is to watch on screen. So let's just find more things for Lisa Rinna to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That
and
is my
I can't wait to see what happens next. I don't like these ideas. People talking about you getting voted off the next episode. I don't claim that. I will be pissed. So I know you can't. I'm not even gonna look at you, but we're not putting that out there. I'm trying to see Candiace at the very end, and I want to be sure if we mad at Rob, I don't want to know why.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of season left, and
yes,
the next episode is insane. I will say that it's
okay. Okay, I trust you about that because I love Alan, but as good as the episode was, it wasn't when he was like something happened.
The carnage.
I was like, maybe that was the edit.
I saw that critique a lot, and a lot of people, you know, were like, "Oh, this is about to be crazy." And because when he first said it, like a month or so ago, I was like racking my brain, like, "Well, what is he talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, it has to be the moment between Tara and Natalie," and that was a really intense moment. It was, you know, we were at that table for a long time.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And it was really intense. And I've talked to some of the cast, and we all kind of like had the consensus of it was not as outlandish as it was teased to be. So then I was like, well, maybe he wasn't talking specifically about the banquet. Maybe he was talking about the episode as a whole, because that round table was really intense. And that made a little bit more sense to me. I mean, the banquet was still stunning. It was beautifully shot. It was full of drama, but like there was a lot of drama at that table.
I can imagine. I really enjoyed the episode. I think I just got to watch how I measure my expectations. Speaking of measuring my expectations, I actually am quite pleased with the Karen Huger interview. I'm very curious to go ahead.
Y'all gonna knock me out. I have not had time to watch it. So you have to give me the highlights and I will tell you what I think. I've only seen the clips. I have not been able to watch it yet.
Well, wait, is our guest thumbing it down? Should we welcome her now?
Yeah.
Based on the thumbs down that I can see from the screen, for those who are listening, I can tell our guest has some thoughts about the Karen Huger interview and many other topics, and we'll hear from more of that when we back from the break.
Yes. Oh, ladies and gentlemen and Billy Goats, I am so excited to bring in our guest. You have to live under a rock if you don't know her. This is host of The Tea on Substack. She is a White House correspondent for The Contrarian. She's also the longest serving Black White House correspondent on Earth. Okay. On Earth. And she has a new book coming out.
The universe as well.
The Earth and the universe. She is author of Black Women Will Save the World. And she is author of the new book out October 6th, Notes on a Blacklash. I love that. When Black women go viral. Ladies and gentlemen, April Ryan.
Hello,
Welcome,
my friend.
April. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me, Michael. Thank you, Candiace. Welcome to my office, my new studio, and my office, See America. Black Women Will Save the World, an anthem book still on sale in stores where books are sold. That's right. That's right. You worked with me with that book.
It really is a good book. Like, it's an easy read. It's a good read, and it fills you up. And if you don't know Black women are saving the world, you need that's what you'll learn when you read it.
That's right.
I've been reading you a long time and have quite enjoyed you making Sweet Potato Saddam's head explode in the White House during the first term. So just nice to talk to you. And I did not know you were into Real Housewives and the reality, so my heart sings even more.
I look, after covering America, and this is from the Democratic Convention in 2016, Hillary Clinton. After covering politics from, hold on, get this, I got to go pick it up off the floor. And my earring fell. Way back to, look, remember this Democratic Convention?
That is
Al Gore.
You hate that Supreme Court.
Yes. I often reference Al Gore's internet because hello.
Yeah, he said he made the internet, and then George W. Bush said the internet. Okay. So wait a minute, hold on. I'm going all the way down to to Michelle Obama.
Aunties.
Yeah. And then to the last Democratic convention.
Oh, my heart.
I have not been to any Republican conventions. I didn't go to this last one. It was too dangerous. I mean,
I would imagine.
It's very dangerous. I'm a target. You don't want that. Yes, I watch The Housewives. I watch things that take me completely away from all of this. Something that's mindless. I can fall into other people's lives. And yes, neck, Satan, ankles.
Come on, neck, ankles. No, we're gonna actually get to neck, and we're gonna get to neck in a few actually, because before we get to the ugliness of America, we want to talk a little bit about the Karen Huger interview. And based on your thumbs down before we went to break, I take it you didn't enjoy the interview as much.
I'm gonna say this. You don't say enjoy. I don't, and I didn't look, I wasn't looking at this one for entertainment value. This was serious.
Yes.
And for Andy Cohen to come to her home and to have this conversation, it was important. And to go through what she's been through, I didn't feel what I thought, or I didn't see what I thought. I would see it. She was ready. She was ready for the camera. I will never negate what she's been through. But this is a serious situation. drinking while driving, and she did acknowledge, why she did it.
She did.
But there was it was so much, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. And it was, I turned from it because I said, you know what? I didn't connect to this. And I turned to the Grammys. And
interesting. Well, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
You need to.
I want to. This is the one episode, ladies and gentlemen, this season that I am going to watch, and I will gladly admit that I have watched. People love to say that I'm secretly, under the covers, watching this season of Housewives and then acting like I'm not watching it. I'm not. But I will be watching this. I will confirm that I'm going to watch this episode with the Karen Huger of it all. But I haven't seen it yet. So I wanted Michael, who is really good at recapping, to sort of give me the cliff notes so that I can maybe react.
I felt that there was some humility, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I felt that there was some, yeah.
I've seen April's critique a lot. For me, I differ a bit in that I will just say this as the child of
I differ a bit, but go ahead.
someone who for me who grew up around addiction and saw the ugliest side, particularly with alcoholism and being around other people who have struggled with addiction. I understand that maybe people didn't get exactly what they thought they might have, or as much as maybe I'm not speaking of April, but just some of the other critiques that I thought they would have liked. Personally, for me, I actually thought that she admitted more than I anticipated.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, well, yes, but in that, I think because she acknowledged she did use the word, she turned
she did. She acknowledged
alcohol problems. She
acknowledged.
I think that some people she didn't. She struggled with the term alcoholic. She actually said she prefers Narcotics Anonymous as opposed to Alcoholics Anonymous. She talked a lot about her combination of prescription drug use and abuse in combination with alcohol.
Yes.
To me, though, I got more than I thought. Personally, she said more than the addicts in my life will ever acknowledge. I also think, generally speaking, particularly with people who struggle with alcohol abuse and alcohol addiction, getting them to own the term alcoholic is a lot, particularly those facing a lot of public scrutiny. I will say some of when she was picking, I guess when Andy at one point, let's example, mentioned the 4 DUIs and she went out of her way to say, no, there were 2 and one was 20 years ago.
That part.
I do think, and there were other instances similar to that,
that was deflection. That was deflection, not owning. She said she's had this problem for over 20 years. And she said it, but that was deflection of them. I was like, if you had, it's actually 4, but to break it down and say, that's where I'm like, it was her moment. Yes, you were right, but it was very scripted. It wasn't a full embrace to me of everything. I believe she said the right things, she spoke it, and she claimed that she had to. She could not, she didn't have deniability, but the issue is her embrace of it. Yeah, let's talk about that. And then how she spun some of it. I did not feel that she, just that example that you said, not 4, but 2. And that, I said, there is an issue. Driving while drunk is a serious issue. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 issues. And the judge had to. There was no choice. The judge had to give her some time. And it was wonderful to hear how she helped people. She kept talking about, I was there to help. I was there to help. No, you were there to get help. You were there for punishment to stop what you had been doing. But it was like, I went there. Did you get that, Michael? I went there to go help these young girls that are my age and things of that nature.
Well, I don't know. I hear you. I think there's the Grand Dame persona that we've seen on television, and I think that is tied to obviously a high sense of self. And I'm not saying that disparagingly or insultingly. I think the parsing, it was not 4 DUIs, it was this verse as opposed to that. I think that's semantics. I'm not sure if she did that just for the sake of, I mean, I don't know. Maybe technically it was 4 instances, but only 2 that. I'm not sure if that is actually like the argument to be making in the interview, to be fair. I think like parsing that.
And then I went to with the girls and I helped them and this, and she told us about how her toilet, it was a metal toilet and a metal. I'm like, that's what happens when you go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And how she had to put pads around there. Yeah. And I mean, I just I said what I have to say. Yeah.
I will say the part about going into jail to mentor, she was essentially saying by the time she went to jail that she had did that rehabilitation program. So when she went in, she found herself as a way to reduce her time to lead some of the AA meetings inside of jail.
Okay.
She served as a mentor to some of the younger women who came to her. She said things like, I can't believe you're here already in your 20s. It took me to my 60s to get here. What are you doing here already?
She had something 20 years ago. She got off. But see, here's what I'm gonna say. And I get you, and I'm glad you're detailing it. If you're going into prison for something that is, thank God, and she did say, thank God, no one was there.
Right.
But if you're going not to prison, but if you're going to jail, for something like this, I would expect. And she talked about how she had classes before and she was able to lead. But I want to know deeper what you learned, not what I'm teaching the others and I became a mentor. I want to know what you learned. And she did say that she, her and her husband had deeper conversations while she was in prison to work out their issues. I don't know. I'm looking for something deeper. I'm looking for something deeper.
Okay, I hear both of you, and I'm just gonna, as someone who has spent a lot of time with Karen, I would consider myself someone who knows her well enough. I spent time with her on the show, off the show. I've been around her family. This was a huge feat for Karen. This is something that even just not watching the full episode and only having seen the clips, just when I heard she was doing a sit down, I was excited because I knew that it was going to be a moment of accountability for her, and it was going to be a healing moment for her because I knew she was going to own up to something. And
she had to, because all of that tape was right there.
Did she though? Did she have to? She very well could have gotten up there.
She talked about concubines and Andy Cohen and all of this stuff. Yeah. And she said she didn't watch it until she was with her counselor or something.
I saw that part. Yes, because she was in the dark. And that was the thing I was going to say too. She admitted, because you were saying that she didn't really admit to much. She admitted that when she was offered the plea or the 6 months or whatever it was, that she didn't take it, and her lawyers told her to take it. And she didn't take it because she was still under the influence of whatever prescription medications and alcohol. And it was making her have like delusions of grandeur. That wasn't what she said, but something to that effect. That alone. Because you have to remember, go back in your mind's eye and remember, previous seasons. Robin she made her check off of claiming that Karen wasn't accountable. Same thing with Ashley. They made their checks off of being able to bet on the fact that Karen was going to get on this screen or get on this camera on this trip or whatever we're doing and deny something or, skirt around something. That was their script. So for Karen, who has in past episodes or in past seasons had this reputation of not owning anything and, being someone who was always denying whatever. For her to get in this chair in her house in front of Andrew Jerome Cohen. That's what I call him.
Jerome. Okay.
It's Joseph. I call him Jerome. Get in front of Andrew Jerome Cohen on her couch in her home and say out of her own mouth, listen, I was not in my right mind because of prescription pills and alcohol. That is huge for Karen. And I said it online, I'm proud of her. I'm proud that she at this time was able to say this because it's a journey.
April Holmes are taking me out.
It's a
So wait a minute.
journey.
So let me say this.
She may not get to where you all are expecting her to get to for another 6 years.
But I don't know. But you know her. I don't know
her.
her. I watch her. I wish her and her family the best.
Yes.
I pray that this is really the lesson, not just for her, but for other people.
Yes.
Who are in this cycle. And maybe the words were connected to emotion and feeling and not just words. But even if they were just words, I pray that it sinks in at some point. Even if they were just words, I pray that Karen becomes the woman that she wants to be. She said how she was stunted. She was immature because of things that had happened in her life. Yeah. The way she was talking, she spoke it. And maybe she's embraced it before, but I just pray that someone that she heals and that other people who watch this can identify and can heal.
I honestly believe that this interview was the beginning of her healing.
Good.
Yes.
Publicly.
I really enjoy talking with this about April because I do think a lot of people have articulated a lot of her same positions. I think that she gave the best that she's capable of right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be curious to see what that looks like in the future. And I will say to some people judging, I think generally speaking, a lot of people struggle with admitting how much alcohol plays into their life, or even in case like weed
Now
or
I
whatever
feel
you're using.
so bad.
No,
I feel so
you know,
bad. I feel,
this you
no,
shouldn't.
I'm not
No, you shouldn't.
I feel bad.
This is April, honestly, I appreciate this because I think it shows that one interview alone is not going to change a lot of people's opinions because a lot of alcoholism, particularly drinking and driving, it hits such a nerve for a lot of people, understandably so. And the way that Karen behaved, particularly in season 9, it's gonna take a lot more for people to forget that. I just think this is maybe, I don't know if getting older and being worn down by everything. And again, like I heard more from her than I will ever hear from people in my life, but that doesn't negate the valid points I think April and a lot of the audience still has. So I'd be curious to see where she goes in the future. Because I think the parsing of the DUIs, it does suggest something.
Yeah.
And when she was also explaining some of the reasons why she wanted to get away from her life, particularly with like Ray and her marriage, while I do think some people took that as an excuse, I found that to be more of an explanation of what various reasons
Said,
why she turned.
as you know, we've been public about it. We've talked about our marriage and things, but she really didn't get into the
She
nitty gritty. But
didn't.
she said, yeah. But let me say this. Again, I wish her the best in healing. And I don't want to keep talking about this too much because I feel bad now. But what I will say, sometimes we have to not believe our press releases.
Yes.
And realize that we are held accountable to. And maybe this is the beginning of accountability. And not just for her, but for other people who look up to her or saw this. Because again, drunk driving is bad. Drugged driving is bad. So many people lose their lives, limbs, family members. Candiace, how many times have we driven up and down the road in Maryland and seen all those little makeshift, those makeshift memorials to someone who's passed away. And every time I see it, I'm a mother, and there, but for the grace of God, I'm here, and my kids are here. I mean, I digress, but I wish her the best. I do. And I hope it helps other people.
We all do.
We love Karen.
We love us some Karen.
We know who we don't love. Well,
listen.
Okay. Candiace, we gotta your other let's just say it. Your name was actually said
You
Yes,
don't say.
yes, you were actually acknowledged because there were rumors, which I was not going to ask you about this week, by the way. I was not going to ask you about whether or not you got into it with
The
the light
people.
skin mafia, the light
Mhm.
eye mafia, whatever we called them back then.
Yep.
The people.
The
Mhm.
But
Green-Eyed Bandits or something? Is
yes,
that
that's
what they
what.
call
Yeah,
me?
them.
I watched
Yeah.
the show too much.
It's all right. It's all right. No, it is I those names, those are great monikers. I affectionately refer to them as far as the podcast, the Two Broke Girls podcast. So it was brought to my attention on this evening that the Two Broke Girls podcast had my little name in their mouths
I thought they
in
didn't call
reference.
you. I thought they didn't call your name anymore.
They did not.
Oh,
So
no,
in a previous episode, they mentioned me in reference to Traitors, and
Girl,
it's just
you
too
killing it on
painful.
Traitors.
Thank you.
Nobody can deny that. You have made me watch every Thursday. I'm
Thank
like, oh
you.
my God, it's so good. I
Thank
don't
you.
like Rob. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
Anybody who wears a snake on their body, that
listen,
tells you right there.
alert.
If they show you who they are, believe them. He
Believe them.
shows you.
Yes. Yes. And speaking, yes, and the girls of brokery have showed me who they are time and time again.
I like the girls of Brokery, and
The
I
girls of
like you
brokery.
too. Okay.
And they in a previous episode of their podcast, they had mentioned me in reference to Traitors and just could not bring themselves to mention my fabulous, beautiful name that my mother gave me. And for
But
whatever
you
reason
were
this
mentioned
time.
because you are fabulous on the show.
Well, thank you. Yes. So
I
they
did see the
brought me up.
clip.
What was the reference? They brought me up in reference to, oh, no, it wasn't even Traitors. They brought me up in reference to Ultimate Girls Trip. There were rumors swirling that I had gotten into a verbal melee with the girls of brokery and allegedly Ashley.
Giselle and
And
Robin, let's call them. I'm
they
not going to
were
say their girls.
no, the girls of brokery. That is who they are. And
You are
they,
Candiace, and they're Giselle and Robin. Go ahead.
I'm Candiace. They are Brokery Nation.
Giselle and Robin. Go ahead.
They are Brokiana 1 and Brokiana 2.
Okay.
And Lord forgive me. And so yeah, those were the rumors. Those were the rumors. And they wanted to clear up allegedly that there was no argument between myself and them, which
I hope not.
you know,
Robin did actually say Candace's name, which is
Thank
progress. Robin denied the rumor.
yes.
And Giselle, I think she just said I didn't see her, which I doubt Candace saw her either, even though we all saw them in a picture together. They did not see each other. But
But you know, when the picture was
Robin
taken,
actually made
I was
progress
on
by
this
saying
end.
her name. Yes.
They were on that end. I don't know what's happening outside my purview. Like, I'm not looking, beyond the river bend where darkness lies. I don't look over there. So I didn't see what was happening over yonder. I was just in the photo. I was just happy to be in the room. Me and my wig. Shout out to Bob the drag queen and his team who helped me put my wig and sash together for the event. I was just there to enjoy and be enjoyed and be around people who wanted to enjoy me. So I wasn't even looking at them. So when people are like, "Oh, the picture and me, it's hope and da 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 da," I mean, maybe
Yeah, I knew
maybe
better
on
than
God.
I
that.
have hope that there's
On
healing
God's
there
time.
too. I have
Yeah,
hope that there's healing there too. I do.
maybe
Anything is
Karen can
possible.
tag in. You know what? I think maybe at least one of them with Jesus and some Karen and Tom. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know about the other one.
There's a
Y'all
you
got a
know
lot of
what?
other
We need
miracles
to
to work
put
on.
Potomac. We need to put Potomac under something to just. We need to push some prayer towards it because I'm telling you,
Oh, listen.
y'all, yeah.
Every last one of them needs a healing. They all need to be baptized
Hello.
in the River Jordan.
But you know, you know what? Listen, progress was made.
Progress will be made.
It was a fun night. It was a peaceful night, mostly. And if there were a friendly banter, it was a friendly banter.
So
And
let me say this. Let me put my everyday hat on. Let me play mama, mentor, longest serving Black White House correspondent in history.
Period.
I believe in the olive branch, not the arrows. You know, at the White House, people don't know this. Well, I don't know if it's been changed with Trump. There's an eagle in the ceiling, and there used to be an eagle on the carpet, and they would have one talon would have olive branch, stands for peace, and the other would have arrows for war. And the beak was important. Where the beak turned was where we were, and the beak would turn towards the olive branch of peace. I believe. I'm gonna tell you, we are going through too much as a people.
Yes.
For us to be playing these stupid games. I'm just, we are going through so much. You guys, all of you guys, are such talented women, talented, beautiful Black women.
Yes.
And you are very talented, my dear.
Thank you.
You are extremely talented. That Traitors show and you're singing, yes. But what I'm saying is, I just want peace to remain, because we as a community, I'm just looking at what's happening in my fellow journalists.
Yes.
Don and Georgia Ford.
Yes.
I'm looking at Savannah Guthrie's mother missing.
We were going to talk about that too.
I'm like right now, and then that's not even the tip of the iceberg. People are being shot and killed in Minnesota. They're trying to protest for peace and no ICE in Los Angeles. I'm just like, every day is something crazy. The president's talking about he wants to sue the IRS for $10 million. And I'm like, what? I said, there are people who don't have food. People are losing their houses. The delinquency rates have gone up. Maryland unemployment has gone up. Unemployment everywhere is going up. And it's just, I'm like, y'all, we got to do better.
Yeah.
I love you, Candiace. We got to do better. I'm going to tell, next time I see the other ones, I'm going to tell them. Because I talk to Sharice a lot. I'm going to say, do better. I'm going to call her. I'm going to say,
well, we like Sharice.
Yeah, that's my classmate. That's my college classmate. We actually knew each other in school. And I'm going to tell everybody, when I see Giselle, we got to do better. If I see Robin, I'm going to say, we got to do better. I'm telling you. And when I see Wendy, when I see everybody,
I'm sure you will tell her, but I will say, I love your hope and optimism. We're going to pray about it. But I also think I don't want to speak for Candiace, but I think we'd sooner see Donald Trump and Don Lemon go golfing together than we'll probably see those two kick in. But you
golfing,
never know.
Not in New Jersey on the first tee, because the first tee is where the ex-wife is buried.
Right. We need to let her rest.
We did want you to talk to us about the Don Lemon situation, because last Friday, he and Georgia Ford were arrested by federal agents for covering anti-ICE protests in City's Church in St. Paul. They were charged with conspiracy and interfering with religious freedom. No accusation of protesting. They were just doing journalism, of course. The indictment alleges they had participated in a takeover-style attack for asking questions during a live stream. A federal magistrate judge previously declined an arrest warrant, citing no evidence of criminal behavior.
2 judges declined.
2 judges, yes. And I've since read, obviously it's not constitutional. Now, I don't even know where to begin with this. One thing was the White House mocking Lemon's arrest with like, when life gives you lemons with the chains emoji. It's like, y'all are a little too on the nose with your racism. And I did appreciate that when Don was freed, he immediately said, they said they will not be silenced.
No, they won't. They're not.
Now, for me, it's all over the place. Like I'm surprised it was Don Lemon of all people to be arrested. Not that it was because of his type of journalism, just because it just seems like ridiculous that he was essentially just at a church covering a protest, and that was a journalist he decided to.
You are looking at this like you're supposed to.
Yes.
You're looking at it soberly. You're looking at it seriously. But let's take into account that we have a petty president.
Yes.
He was mad at Don Lemon the first term.
Yes, he was.
He was very angry. And this time, Don followed, chronicled an activist group. He wasn't an activist.
No.
He chronicled an activist group, he in Georgia, that walked into a church that they suspected that the pastor, one of the pastors, was, and then when the activist group stopped the services of this church that is very extreme and very MAGA believing, that's important in this. When he started interviewing, they were mad because one, Don Lemon is here. Don Lemon superseded the activists and became the activist for using his First Amendment right. He didn't stop the church service, the activists did. And he asked, what do you think? Now, would they have done the same thing if there was a white conservative who followed the activists in to ask what they thought? And see, what they didn't like even more was that they had film to say and show what happened. Two judges threw this out saying, I refuse. But the federal government under Donald John Trump, Donald J. Trump, I might use Jerome, Donald Jerome Trump. No, I don't yet. Well, yeah, we'll call him Donald Jerome Trump.
To be clear, we're not comparing Andy.
No, we're not comparing Andy. No.
Trump.
What's another word? What's another J?
The Junkyard, Donald Junkyard Trump.
Donald Junkyard Trump. No, I like the name Jerome because that's very on the phone with Jerome or Tyrone. Donald Junkyard Trump. I like that. And you know I'm gonna get in trouble for that, but I don't care. Donald John Trump, because they follow Donald John Trump, they knew Don Lemon was the perfect point to fight against. And Georgia was doing her job. Georgia is an amazing reporter. She is an Emmy Award winner. She's an independent journalist. Both of them are. But Don has more visibility, but we're going to call both their names, okay? Both of them, I'm so glad they had the foresight to chronicle what was going on, the visuals. And then Georgia also chronicled how they came to her home at 5 a.m, peeping through the windows, wearing tennis shoes. You know, not tactical shoes, but tennis shoes. And that's another question. Who were they really? You know, with their DEA drug enforcement. Why do you need drug enforcement authorities to come pick up someone for going into a church to report First Amendment? So, at this point, it's just like what's happening to Tish James, just like what's happening to Lisa Cook, just like what's happening to James Comey, but I'm using Black people first because he wants to continue to go after these people. He's retaliatory. When he was in his campaign for the second term, he said, I'm going to get those who went after me. And Georgia Fort just happens to be collateral damage on the way to get Don Lemon.
I have a couple questions for you. Particularly when the NABJ released a statement, I did see some complaints online, people revisiting the 2024 decision to even allow Donald Trump to appear at the NABJ convention. No. I think for me, platforming him was a mistake, and I think what's happening with Don Lemon, I agree with everything, is targeted, it's racial, he's obviously racist. I think for me, the more I thought about it since in the days since, is that generally speaking, the issue I have a lot of times with Donald Trump and his use of presidential power is that for years now, there's been
his abuse of presidential power. His abuse of presidential power.
His abuse of presidential power. But I think the abuse of the executive and the executive having more power in general is, over the years that predates him, has allowed him to do even more with it. And I bring that up because for me, when Palestinian journalists were being murdered and it was grossly not covered by a lot of people, I think that set a bad precedent. I think and this is not a false equivalence, I'm not comparing the two because I think this is worse, but when a lot of journalists in the Obama administration were prosecuted for under I forgot the specific act, but it's like the leaking of confidential
sources.
That hadn't been, that he did the most under administration until the first Trump administration. And then it's something that carried over into Biden administration towards the end. So for me, I think the Trump thing is obviously a bit greater perversion. It's more dangerous. It's even more grossly illegal. But when we're done with Trump in general, if we're done, well, we'll be done with Trump. I'm not going to claim that. I hope, generally speaking, we examine more about executive power, the relationship the press has had with presidential administrations, because I think even before Obama, particularly with the second Bush administration, they were not particularly friendly to journalists either.
Well, I didn't have a problem with George W. I didn't.
Okay.
But you know, part of the problem for him was that he was a Republican, and he even acknowledges he was a Republican. He was from the state of Texas that had the highest rate of death row, the highest rate of death row number. What do you call? How do you say it? Highest rate of people who died on death row than any other state. His father was a staunch conservative, so he couldn't get away from a lot of that stuff. He didn't necessarily believe in affirmative action. He was not considered the most compassionate person, as they were saying, compassionate conservatism. And some of that was shielded. Some of who he actually was hidden, I guess you would say, from Dick Cheney. What happened with those wars? Dick Cheney had a lot to do with it. Don Rumsfeld had a lot to do with it. And he went along to his detriment. What happened with Katrina? To his detriment. You know, Brownie, you're doing a good job. Brownie didn't do anything good with that. And he regrets it. But one thing people didn't see is this president going out to Africa and dealing with malaria, trying to prevent malaria and trying to prevent HIV transmission from mother to child. They did a lot of work, and he's still trying.
Yes, that's the one good thing he did.
He's still He's still trying to clean up this reputation. That's one of the things. Remember back in the day, this is when we thought Kanye West was absolutely amazing. Remember when he was on that telethon with Mike Myers, George Bush doesn't like Black people. Black folks are like, yay! Let me tell you something. That was before we really knew what was, going on. But George Bush was hurt by that. He was extremely hurt by that. And he's trying to make it up. And when you see him with Michelle Obama, that's really who he is. He and Condi Rice were like this, mother hen. But people didn't see that. People didn't see this gregarious person. I had a decent relationship with him. He would always come to me about issues of Katrina. I kept trying to push Katrina out because that was so hurtful. And I'll never forget flying from Washington to New Orleans on the anniversary of Katrina on Air Force One with them. And I said, do you realize there before the grace of God, that could have been me? So many of us wait out storms. And it wasn't the storm, it was the levee that broke. Yeah. And he was like, So I said, these people could be me. And I wanted to put a face on it so he could understand. Donna Brazile, Democratic strategist, her family was down there. She became very close, not close per se, but she worked closely with the Bush administration to fix New Orleans. So I think George W. Bush, he had his terrible moments. My God, and they were deserved. I mean, the attacks on him were deserved, but he's actually trying to make up. But he really tried with the press, but he couldn't surmount all the obstacles, that were in front of him. He was actually scared to do an interview with me, and he did a couple of interviews with me. I know,
you wouldn't
it's
get
crazy.
that now from the Republicans. You might even get that from certain Democrats.
They're scared. They are scared because they believe it's all about race. And it is. Everything touches race. Everything touches money.
I just, I hear you, and I acknowledge that is true about George W. Bush's relationship to the press, particularly towards the end. But do you understand my concern just generally, like with growing executive power? Trump is just taking something that was already growing and racialized it and is using more as a bludgeon. And I do worry about that, how that particularly targets more independent Black journalists. I'm sure if he wants, he'll go after white journalists in due time, but I think we'll bear the greater brunt of that. But do you worry about that because you were someone who he liked to pick fights with?
Do I worry about it? Well, let's say this. Recently, there was a New York Times interview with the president, and he said, I think civil rights hurt white people. Let's start right there. Then he used the alleged illegitimacy of Barack Obama's birth in this country or in the United States to say he's not a legitimate president. The birtherism thing created his political prowess.
Yep.
That was racism.
And that was
everything
early.
He stands on. What'd you say, Candiace?
That was early on. Because that
was the beginning. That was the beginning.
People that voted for him the first time, who we sometimes want to give the benefit of the doubt to say, well, we didn't know. And I go back to that.
And they were saying, not only, they said, oh, he's just using it as a gimmick. No. And it wasn't a gimmick. So his base, his foundation is racism. His foundation is for the white man who didn't go to college. His foundation started wrong. So now look, in this second term, he tried to knock me, Yamiche, and Abby out. If we would have been supported in that first term, we would not be here today. Look at what's happening at many of these news organizations. A lot of Black people are being put out and having to go to be independent journalists like myself. Now, independent journalists working at Substack have a job with the Contrarian, but because a lot of these places, CBS has been co-opted, Washington Post has been co-opted, we are now trying to find avenues. And I was just on the phone with somebody today. We have to teach our students in these colleges, be it Howard, be it Morgan, be it Dell State, be it Towson State, be it wherever that teaches journalism. We have to include in the curriculum independent journalism as well as protected journalism. How do you protect yourself in this time when you can be reporting while Black and then be accused of being an activist that puts a whole nother different layer on top of any kind of prosecution that they can use against you? You have to now not only report, but prove that you were doing your job and not being an activist.
If I could add, I'd also encourage our few remaining Black publications, while we love entertainment news, could you add a little bit more depth to that? Because that's not going to get us free.
Come on, Michael.
Now, this is a ridiculous segue, but forgive me.
But
April, have you ever watched Basketball Wives?
No. I tried. I couldn't get into it.
Well, it's been canceled. I don't know if you heard.
I heard First Lady Shawnee say it.
Yes.
On Instagram. I was like, really?
Yes. Yeah. And I think, speaking to your CBS point, while the message itself might have sounded like, we moving on to greater things. A few days before, Jennifer Williams sort of intimated what kind of some of us already knew, in that most of the people who worked at BET who were behind that show are no longer there. And a lot of what's happening is, bye-bye Blacks, especially you expensive ones. So I just wanted to say, Basketball Wives, in memoriam. I will say the last two seasons were... well, no, I didn't watch that last season because you don't know. But I lost my mom 2 years ago, so I didn't want to watch Jackie Christie fist fight her daughter on TV. I don't want to see.
I saw something. That's the one. I was like, huh?
I couldn't.
It was like late one night. I was flipping it. It was somewhere. I was like, what is this? It hurt me.
That did too. So it didn't go out on a great note. So we want to say, I'll say, rest in peace, Basketball Wives. Thank you for the 16 years of mess. Thank you for your services. There you go, Candiace. And First Lady Shawnee, I look forward to, I guess, Preacher Wives whenever that comes out. And also,
aren't they on now?
Oh, we might have
Did you
had a
just give
preacher
her an
wife that
idea?
she probably already tried to sell it.
Let me tell
First
you something.
Go
Right
ahead.
now, I think every preacher and the wives need to sit down right now. People, what was Drewski? He
oh,
created a
yes.
whole uproar. I think everybody
What did
need
he
to sit
do?
down right now.
He
You
did a skit talking about, the pastors that that be in the sky like pink preaching. He made fun of
and
them.
Mhm.
He
then
did a
wearing their
parody.
Christian
Oh,
Dior shirts and
Yes.
jackets and
Don't get me
I,
yeah.
started on that, April. When I see a pastor in some Prada, and it's not even like
Mhm.
the subtle kind. Like I grew up
No, it's
Catholic, so like the
monograms.
the the
Yeah.
bishops used to like stun in red bottoms on the sneak. Like these are like,
Mhm.
you see me, you see me. Oh,
so
No,
let
but
me. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna shame the devil. Let me tell you
She could
something.
do a pastor show. She could get her. She could get Dr. Carrie Bryant. That's two right there.
So let me say this. Let me say this. I was done with preacher wives years ago when a pastor at a church that I used to attend, and people will know who I'm talking about. And I don't care. I want you to know because I saw you. This pastor's wife, the church it was not a church that had a lot of wealth. It was a lot of poor people, but honey, the Sunday she had her first pair of red bottoms, she sat on that front row while the children were down there at the altar. She was in the front row, had her foot up. Her foot was like this. You could see the red bottom. I said, now, I'm like, girl, I was laughing. I said, you got your first little pair of red bottoms. God
right.
bless you. And I
Oh.
said, that is tacky. I don't like that.
I
She
don't
had
Mhm.
a
either.
she wanted everybody to see her foot, her bottom. I know her foot was hurting the whole day.
Oh,
Those
for
are the
I
sure.
was
people
so
Jesus
angry.
had that whip out in the temple. I don't see it. One more cancellation that we are genuinely sad about. It is
CBS and the Grammys.
No, Sherri Shepherd's show
No.
has been
Did you hear
canceled.
about Sherri?
It just it I am
Literally
shocked.
breaking news.
I
Breaking.
love Sherri Shepherd. I've been on
Confirmed.
the
What?
show. Like, she's been one of
Yes.
the nicest people I've
Today?
genuinely ever met. Yes.
Name.
In Variety, so it has been confirmed.
That's
I'm
my
I'm I'm
girl.
legitimately shocked because the show has been doing well.
Very
I I
well.
I don't understand it. I don't know if it's just another instance
That's
of
my
Trump's
girl. She
America,
works
but
hard.
she
Hard.
does.
But let me say this to you. Think about this. A lot of again,
Yep.
anti-DEI, anti-woke.
Yep.
A lot of these shows are not getting the revenue.
Mhm.
Look, the head of Black Press, NMPA, Dr. Ben Chavis said they lost 80% of their advertising dollars. Now, a lot of these companies are saying they're losing advertising dollars. Certain people say, oh, we're not going to go. Certain companies are saying, oh, we're not going to go this way this time. That could have been the same thing. It's a black face of a major show.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm. And but what is, because it's not just it's Sherri, but it's also over on Fox. Is it Fox? Where's Kelly? No, NBC. Over on NBC.
NBC.
Kelly Clarkson announced today as well that her
Really?
show is on
She
its last season.
she wants to spend more time with her
Yeah,
children
I've been
and
hearing
their
rumors
father.
for quite some time that her show was ending because she wants to do Broadway. She wants to produce Broadway. She wants to perform and write and do other things. And daytime talk is strenuous. It's hard on the
I'm
host, it's hard on
heartbreak.
the family, it's hard on everybody. But
I need to
who is
text Sherri. I'm gonna
replacing?
call her.
Yes, and tell her, give her a big hug for me when you talk to her, please.
Oh man, I'm
Who is
upset.
replacing them? What are they going to fill? This is two major time slots on daytime talk. How are we filling these slots? And what does this mean for the others? Is Tamron safe? Is J Hud safe? Like, what's happening to daytime talk, and what are they replacing these shows
I'm
with?
so upset about this.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
me upset. Well, I'm gonna say this to you, but think about this. Think about this. Now, since you're talking about all this, look at the Grammys last year when Beyonce won Best Album of the Year. We thought last year was the blackest Grammys we had ever seen. This Grammys was the most multicultural I had ever seen in my life. I was like, what's going on? And guess what? It's the year that they're leaving CBS. And Trevor Noah got the president all upset. And let's give a big shout out to our friend, Bernard Duran.
Duran!
Oh,
Duran Bernard. Wait, how do
we
you say it? Duran Bernard?
Duran Bernard. That is
Why
my
am I backwards?
friend.
I
Oh, it's
love
okay.
him. Remember, the first time I saw him was at Essence, not Essence. Was it Ebony? It was the Ebony 100.
Oh, Ebony Power 100. Yes.
Oh my God, I was like, who is this person? He is dynamic in his acceptance speech. Duran Bernard. Why did I say Bernard Duran? He's gonna beat me up. But I'm gonna tell you something. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man. Yes.
The Muffin Man.
Yes.
The Muffin Man.
And this is a great, this is a good transition, a great segue, because April, we want you to participate in our closing segment that we like to call "Nobody Asked Me But."
Okay.
And so the way that it works is you give your opinion, your unsolicited opinion on whatever topic, whatever you want. And it's nobody asked you but da 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 da. So you sort of like started mine, but because you are our guest, I want you to go first. So
okay, this
nobody
came up
asked you but.
Nobody asked me, but if you park in my parking space after I shoveled it,
What's gonna happen? Yep.
I'm not going to
You
scratch
said
the car. I'm not going to scratch the car. I'm not going to do anything nasty to it.
Right.
There will be ice and snow back around it so you can dig out the space. That is not fair. They won't let you put chairs or nothing in the spaces now. And people are taking people's spaces. Well, I didn't have a space. Well, you go get your little shovel and your little whatever and dig it out. So, and we still have snow
a lot
and ice around, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's not cute. It's like the slippery slide stuff.
I'm lifting y'all up.
I'm in New York and it's the same. It literally looks
really in New York?
Yes, it's bad. You can't even walk. You can't cross the street except for the places where they've shoveled a hole because the plows have come and built up these mounds on each side of the street. It's a mess. Yeah.
So then so did the snow clean the smell away? Like I could always smell the subway when I came close to the snow. Clean the smell away, or just there?
Well, it's so cold. Like my nose doesn't work. Like my sense of smell is frozen. Like when I'm outside, it's like literally 19 degrees right now. So yes, but yes, thank you for your contributions to the segment. That was hilarious. Okay, so nobody asked me, but if you all are not going to put respect on these Grammy or any tributes, just throw them away. Throw them away. Because when I tell you, knowing Mariah Carey, what would possess you, people down at the Recording Academy? And I'm a voting member, so I say this, from the inside. What would possess you to stack her tribute artists with, and I'm going to read some of these people because I love Billy Porter, but Billy Porter and
leave Billy Porter alone. That's my friend. Stop.
I love Billy Porter too, but what?
In his nippy
the
wig.
Whitney Houston wig. What in the Shake and Glow?
Stop.
What?
Stop.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, then if that's the case, what was going on with Cher calling Kendrick Lamar Luther Vandross? That was out of control.
She gets an infraction as well.
She was a big infraction.
That's an infraction
you
as
don't
well.
mess with Luther.
Right. Well, I think what she meant, because the song that won, it was Kendrick and SZA's song, and their song is a sample of a Luther Vandross song.
Cher is 80. She saw
and
Luther
she's also
and she got excited.
We give her a little pass. We do take 10 points.
And then I was like, then Kendrick jumped up. Then I said, well, what is Luther? I said,
we don't give her a pass. But I was not a fan of Billy's wig. I did not particularly care for his version of his tribute song. It wasn't my favorite. I was also, who were those two white girls? Shout out to Sherri, because she turned back time. Our producers are crazy.
Yes.
Turn back time.
Dun,
If I could find a way. Whatever.
I can dream one day. Sing it, everybody.
Hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Get your mic.
If I can reach the stars, something come to you.
Yes, shout out to Cher. And hopefully, I hope has she let go of that man? Because that man is
No,
really
He's
she's
with
still
good.
a
with him.
young brother.
I don't like that. If I was
A
her
young
child,
brother from another mother. Yes,
where's
she
Chaz?
does.
Chaz
I
needs
hope
to come
he
yoke that
talked to
man
her
up.
last night. I
Yoke,
hope he talked to her last night.
yoke that man up. But yes, so I wasn't a fan of Billy's. Who were those two white girls? Lawfully. Who are you? What are you doing here? Like, it's like, if you're going to do a tribute to one of music's greatest contributors, icons to music, you need to bring in those who can like be up to snuff. Mariah can't even really sing some of her songs anymore because they are
they're
so
high notes. Yeah,
difficult to sing. So
Yeah.
why would you bring in Susan and Jessica to, and they might sing their songs well. Leave them over there with the teeny boppers and the pop songs. If you want to really pay respect to a music
The
icon,
Grammys were all over the place. Let's just say
I hated it.
You did? You hated it? Okay.
I hated it.
I didn't know half the people up there except
Because it's
my
become
friend.
a popularity contest. It's instead of staffing the tribute list with people that can actually sing, it becomes, oh, well, who's hot right now? And that's where you go wrong. So this is my suggestion.
They had Joni Mitchell up there, okay?
These are my
questions.
questions.
They had Joni Mitchell there, yeah.
Well, Joni Mitchell, she's an icon.
She's an icon.
We could let her, with her beret, we could let her sit there.
Yes.
But where was Jordan Sparks? If we're talking about who can sing Mariah, where's Jordan Sparks? Where was Tori Kelly? Because Tori's the one person I know can sing Mariah down. Where was Ariana Grande? She wasn't doing nothing. Wicked is over. Okay. Where was she? And had one more. Where was Leona? Where was Leona Lewis? That's it. And Teddy Swims was good. I liked Teddy. And I liked Flo. Flo sang down for me. But the rest of them, exit stage left. I hated it.
So let me ask you this. I love Regina King and Tyler, the Creator, but did you understand all his videos? Because I said, okay, he ran over himself.
Yeah, but artistic expression. It's not, sometimes if I don't understand stuff, I just say, oh, that wasn't meant for me. And I keep it moving.
No, I sat there and thought about it. And I said, okay, he ran over himself. And I had to, okay. It was good. It was, artistic expression.
Yes, it was good. Okay,
Don't,
Michael.
Don't mess with a lamb. I'll be short and sweet. Nobody asked me, but I really I've been gave up Nicki Minaj. I done told y'all when she said that line on your dead mama stuff. But then after the Grammys, I think she made a trans comment. She said Chrissy Teigen had a dick and Trevor Noah was gay.
She did.
And something about Democrats and all this other nonsense. And it's just like, you miserable fuck. I wish her peace and medication, but the Christian psychosis shit is annoying. Her insulting gay people and trans people is annoying, especially when you got all put on partially by pretending that you used to eat coochie at least half the time, which you never did.
And half of your fan base
in Gag City is full of rainbow community. And it's just, to me, you deserve every bit of misery that's coming your way for the next couple years. You don't like women yourself, so let me tell you now, the way Kanye does that little apology will probably be forgiven. You probably won't be given that same courtesy, but since you've been so nasty and mean to women and gays and lesbians and trans people and every other type of person, oh well. And, to quote Billy Porter, who's in that Whitney wig, yes.
That's why you're not going to talk about Billy Porter.
Yes.
That was iconic.
He ate that one.
Was iconic.
Like,
let me tell you.
I screamed from the bowels of my stomach. Like, and shout out to the microphone and to the reporter that was holding the microphone. Girl, I hope you are right. Because He blew from down deep in his
That
soul. He
breath
blew it on
was
you.
like, it was
Oh my God.
long. It was like he was singing a song.
So,
I know.
thank you, Billy.
Billy.
Thank you, April, for joining us.
Yes.
But can I say something before we finish on Nicki Minaj? This is hypocrisy. The woman still has issues with her immigration documentation, and Trump has got her everywhere. Watching Melania's movie that they lying that got a lot of people.
Yes.
They lying about the numbers. And she's up there in the Oval Office and everywhere else. And I mean, it's hypocrisy. You got people, you got ICE out there in Minnesota, you got people all across the country looking for immigrants. Hello? Is her documentation okay? I'm just saying, I'm done. Nicki Minaj, you don't have to like me. I don't care. I never liked your music before, and I really don't like it now. But thank you.
Oh.
I'm sad I can't rap it anymore. But
on that note.
Yes, we gotta go. See you. It's been wonderful, you guys. Thank you.
We have enjoyed you. Candiace, read us out.
April, thank you for being here. Listeners, onlookers, thank you for being here with us as well. Continue to like and subscribe and follow.
And comment on your favorite podcast platform.
Yes, all of the above.
I'm gonna get in trouble after this. I know it.
No, we're going to protect April Ryan at all costs. Okay? At all costs. Yes. Well, ladies and gents, may your life be soft. May your boundaries be strong. And may your group chat stay private. See you next time on Undomesticated. Bye.
I'm gonna get my butt in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Who gonna check you, boo? Who gonna check you? Undomesticated is presented by Odyssey and Agenda Management and Production. Our executive producers are Brandon Sharp from Agenda Management and Production and Corinne Gilliard-Fisher. Our executive producer from Odyssey is Leah Reese-Dennis. Miguel Contreras is our senior producer. Michael Arsenault and Candice Dillard Bassett are our producers. Sound design, video production, and engineering by Miguel Contreras. Booking by Jillian McEwen. Original music by Candice Dillard Bassett, Nairi Davidson, and Donald Hazel Sales. Special thanks to Nairi Davidson, Maura Curran, Josefina Francis, Hillary Schuff, Eric Donnelly, Kate Hutchinson Rose, Lauren Lombardi, David Gannon, Kurt Courtney, and Lauren Vieira.
It's a lot of names.